Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? Let's talk it out, community. We are here live at 12:34 a.m. on Saturday morning, July 20th, 2019. I am here. I'm your host, Alec, Lifschultz, aka Trey Busy. This is a very random live episode of Let's Talk It Out. And I just wanted to get on here because I've been getting a lot of questions from people. They've been asking me, Trey, why'd you start the podcast? Like, what's the whole concept of it? What's the idea of it? What sparked you to go out of your way to create something that's so diverse and so unique? And the whole purpose of the Let's Talk It Out podcast for me was to create a community for people to feel safe to talk about what they're battling mentally. Personally, I want to go back to August 2018. That's when it really inspired me to start the podcast. I want to say it was the same week that Mac Miller lost his life. And come to find out he was battling depression and stuff like that. So it just really pushed me. I went to the lab, and by lab I came to my room, started writing down notes and stuff, and I just wanted to figure out a way to be able to for me to help people. I wanted to use a platform to help people. Personally, what did I do? I sat in my room and I just tried to come up with an idea or like a concept. And so I was plugged in with Bears Barroom at the time. I was doing football podcasts every week because that's how I started off as a writer for that website, and I ended up joining the podcast team. So I reached out to the head honcho of the Bears Barroom podcast, the guy that's the super producer, Aldo Gandia, and I asked him, I said, hey, Aldo, and I talked to three people that night. I talked to Aldo, I talked to my mother, and I talked to my boy Zach, and I let all three of them know. I was like, hey, I wanted to create something for people about mental health, because I wanted to reach out to people and help save people's lives and not let them know that they're alone. Let them know that they're not alone, and let them know that there are people out there that actually give a damn about them, because that's all they want, really. That's all people want, someone to actually listen to them and understand them and give them good feedback and give them good advice, right? So the whole concept of the show was created literally in one night. Honestly, it just hit me. Like when you have an idea or a concept and it hits you, you need to just go right through with it. You need to just make it happen at that point. Don't go to sleep on it. Don't ignore it. Make it happen. You have something hit you, just make sure you put it down on a piece of paper. So I reached out and I told those three, I was like, I wanted to create a podcast that's centered around mental health. And the whole purpose of it was to have real conversation, real unedited conversation that you're not going to hear anywhere else, because you don't hear conversations about mental health at work. You don't hear conversations about mental health at church, at school. You don't hear it anywhere else. Even with your friends, you guys don't talk about the things that's on your mind that's challenging to you. So I wanted to create a community where people feel comfortable talking about that. And not only that, but I was going to have professionals come on, and every week I have professionals come on that worked in the mental health community, people that have these majors or these experience dealing with these different conditions, come on and have a conversation about it, because I have a very big reach. I have a big reach, and I use it to recruit people from all over the place to come on and have conversation, because I feel like I'm able and willing to help people, right? So that's what it's all about, being able and willing. Not everybody has those two, feels that way, that they feel like they're able and willing to help others. Some people are able, some people are willing, some people just don't care. I'm both able and willing. So that's why I go out of my way. I decided I wanted to go out of my way to create a podcast to help people out. And, since I've created it, I've had people tell me that they feel more open about talking about it to people. They feel more open about writing about it, seeking help, going to see therapists. And that's what it's all about, getting people to feel more open and more comfortable with who they are and what they're battling, because it's perfectly normal. There's a feeling, a lot of times I see people say that there's a feeling of they feel different than their friends or their family, but they don't realize that a lot of people, they don't open up to each other. So it's like you never know who relates to you on what level. And it's a crazy thing to think about, that you feel like you're alone, but you have more in common with these people than you think. So I see Brittany in the chat room talking about some India. I told you I was about to go live. You guys thought I was playing when I posted that status saying 1 like and I'll go live. No, I don't play around with Let's Talk It Out, man. Most people that know me know how serious I am about it. 1 like and I'll go live. And it happened. So here I am, letting you guys know. Let's talk it out. So the whole purpose of the live chat room every Thursday, I promise you there's no other podcast out there that cover mental health that's a live show. The live podcast was created because I want people to come into the chat room and ask these professionals in the mental health community questions and get them answered immediately. You know, you feel like you're a part of the conversation when you're in the chat room and you ask questions and you get them answered. It feels like you're there. You know, it feels like you're in part of the conversation. That's a huge part of it. It's like, it makes you feel welcome. You know, you feel like you actually matter. What you're saying matters. And I read all the comments during the show. I don't skip over any comments. I read every comment that comes up because, you know, people, they're expressing themselves. Like some of the comments in there are people literally expressing things that's battling them, things that they're dealing with, things that they just need help with. And the professionals, depending on who's on and what the topic is, they are more than open to giving you guys good advice, right? I mean, Brittany says, I'm very appreciative of this podcast. You know what? And I'm appreciative of people that come on and that every week they're in there and they're having a conversation. Even if you're not listening live, people that download, people that subscribe to the podcast, I really do appreciate you guys that you know, see my work and know how much effort that, because I don't get paid a fucking penny to do this, man. Like, this is literally like a hobby for me. You know, this is not, I don't get paid to do this. I don't see a cent. It's life-changing, so it's transparent and real. Yes, like I said, it's real conversation. You're not going to have a real conversation. Even a couple weeks ago, it was me, Bobby Phelan, and Tyler Eulis. It's 3 men sitting around talking about vulnerability, talking about anxiety, talking about things that depression, talking about how things that they battle, how they feel about certain things that happen to them. You don't hear that anywhere else. You really don't. You turn on the radio or something like that, all you hear is conversations about celebrities or sports or something like that. You don't hear nothing that really truly fucking matters, man. It's sad that you can't get that anywhere. You know, you can't get what you're dealing with anywhere. But hey, if you want to go hear about what's going on with the Kardashians, just turn on the fucking TV, right? No, that's not how. That does not affect your life immediately. You know, it's a distraction. There's nothing but distractions everywhere. And I posted a status earlier on Facebook about people, you know, you're truly not going to be happy because everything's about seeking validation, right? You know, people post things for validation. They want to get likes from people that don't even fucking know them. They don't give a shit about you. You know, you just look nice in a dress or something like that. And it's an emptiness that you guys create with yourselves from doing that. You're creating this emptiness in your life by seeking validation from people that you don't even fucking know. Meanwhile, people that you do know in real life, you're ignoring them, and you just completely casting yourself away, and you feel like, you know, you're not connecting with anybody, and it's because you're not going in the right direction to connect with the right people. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep it real. You know, I'm 8 minutes in. I've literally talked for 8 minutes straight, but that's okay though, because you know what? This is things that people need to hear. This is what you need to hear. I went off the rails a little bit, but the whole purpose of tonight, I just want to tell people what sparked the Let's Talk It Out podcast. I've dealt with depression myself. Last couple years, not this year, but the last couple years, I got laid off jobs, and I had a hard time finding a new job. And it's like, you just feel, everybody else is just like, you know, going through life, and they're just, you know, you feel just like you don't exist. You're right. It's like an emptiness, right? And if anybody who like feels what I'm saying right now they know it's true, that when you are in a very dark place, you like feel a feeling of emptiness. You feel a feeling of alone, and that's that feeling, man. I'm telling you, that's a very scary way to feel, that you don't belong somewhere. You know, that you're by yourself. And God forbid, I mean, anybody who's out there who's dealing with that right now, I need you to reach out to me. Even if you listen back to this podcast, because I will be posting this to my stream. Even if you listen back to this podcast, I need you to reach out to me. I had a conversation with someone who's a regular listener last night, and I pulled in another regular listener who's I'm really close to, because I talk to regularly, and we started a group chat. We had a conversation all through last night, you know, just trying to resolve this person, because they feel like that they're just, you know, just existing, and that things don't matter in their life, and that's not true. You know, you are a very important part of the world. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been created. You matter. That's why you were created. Brittany says, I'm guilty of seeking validation from people who don't care about me at all. I'm sorry, man. This is 12:44 a.m. on Saturday morning. Fuck those people. Fuck them and fuck getting validation from them. I'm keeping it real. Dan says, my guy, what's going on? When we just, man, I was just with Dan early. We had a couple beers. And if anybody's wondering, I'm not drunk right now. I'm pretty sober. 2 beers ain't going to do nothing for me. But like I was saying, I mean, if you reach out to me, I will get back to you. I have people that 100% will back me on that. I mean, you send me a message, within 20, 30 minutes, I'll respond to you. If the only reason I won't respond to you if you send me a message is because I'm asleep. And that's understandable. I mean, I need the rest. You know, I do a lot, man. I work a job. Sometimes I work 6 days a week, and then after that, I'm creating content for the podcast. I'm having conversations with people, you know, regularly. People call my phone. I'm a really busy person. Dan says he's helped me out without even trying. Man, I'm just, like I said, I'm just here, just do my part, man. It's like, again, if you are able to help someone out, you should do whatever you can to do that, for sure. I didn't even put a title on this podcast. I just came home, sat down, pressed start, and went and just been talking ever since. So, people on Facebook, I'm on live on Facebook as well. People that are on Facebook right now, I typically don't do my podcast live, but because I don't have a guest on with me, I'm just doing it live on Facebook tonight. If you guys aren't following the podcast, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on Instagram. I mean, I have it available everywhere you listen to podcasts. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to find Let's Talk It Out podcast. Brady says, Alec is changing lives. Seriously. I'm not, and you know what's so funny? I'm not really doing nothing but connecting you guys with other people. That's what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I give my expertise, I give advice from what I've experienced, from things I know, but I have the experts come on and they connect with you guys and they give you guys more information than I know. You know, I've learned a lot just by listening to the people that I have come on as guests. They come on and they say things. Even me, sometimes, like even Yaqui Shelley came on a few weeks ago. He was saying things, you know, talking about his foundation and talking about, you know, how his great grandparents and things that happened with his great grandfather. Like, just having this conversation with these people, I learned so much. With Lorna Rose talking about her grandma, or, you know, listen to Holly talk about her experience. I just sit there and I'm listening just like how you guys listen. I get it that I'm hosting the podcast and I'm getting the questions, I'm doing the interviews, but I'm learning from these people just like you guys are. And I'm telling you, man, like some of the stories are powerful, man. Like there's some of the things that they've been through, you know, things they've overcome in life is just truly tremendous, man. And it's just, a lot of people are hearing it, but they're not fucking listening, man. It's sad. You know, it's sad that people are just overlooking the advice that these people are giving me. I mean, just go back and listen to former episodes of the podcast. You know, Rayson woke up early on a Friday morning because he's inside Singapore. He lives in Singapore. He woke up at like 9 a.m. Friday morning to record with me because it's still 8 o'clock here on Thursday night. He woke up early to record with me. Max, on my very first episode since I relaunched, Max woke up. He lives in Vietnam. He's doing a Peace Corps mission in Vietnam. He's teaching math and right now. And my very first episode, this man woke up at like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Friday to record with me at 8 o'clock at night on Thursday, just because he said he follows me and he's really appreciative of what I do, a podcast. He heard my former podcast. He woke up that early just to record me. And you guys don't understand, you know, these people, these guests are going out of their way to come on and have conversations with you guys. It's just so powerful that they're willing to and able to help you guys. You know, they really give you advice. This is what you need to do. You know, this is what you need to got going on with you. Blah blah blah. You know, if you have this going, you need to seek therapy. I mean, the conversation goes on. I could talk about every guest I've ever had. I could just keep going. And the fact that these people, you know, sometimes they work 2 or 3 jobs. They're entrepreneurs. Sometimes they write books. They do seminars. And they go out of their way just to come on to Let's Talk It Out podcast. And they always thank me for the opportunity to come on. You know, they thank me for the opportunity to come on. I'm like, I should be thanking you for taking time out of your busy day, your busy schedule to come have this conversation with me, because you didn't have to do that, man. You know, you didn't have to take an hour out of your busy life where you're working a job and also, you know, doing side work, then come have a conversation with me. You know, you didn't have to do that. And like I said, it's very powerful that people take time out of their busy day. People on the other side of the world take time out of their busy day or their busy morning to have a conversation with me for an hour about something that nobody else wants to address. People on social media don't want to talk about mental health. It's looked at as something that's it's like an elephant in the room kind of thing, I want to say. Like, people know there's issues out there, know they're battling, but they don't want to acknowledge it, and they think that ignoring it is going to make it get better, and it only gets worse from ignoring it. It only gets worse. So I'm putting pressure on people to have the conversation. I'm putting pressure on people to talk about mental health. I'm putting pressure on you to face your depression, to face your anxiety, face your PTSD, borderline personality disorder, whatever you're dealing with. I put pressure on people with the Let's Talk It Out podcast to face it, because you need to face it. You need to talk about it. You need to figure out ways for you to cope with it. Otherwise, again, Sienna Trey, what's my views on what? What are we talking about? What are my views on Trump? Fuck Trump. I hate Trump. No, I'm kidding. See, I'm a little sidetracked. Sorry about that, everybody. But like I said, this is not prepared at all. This is literally off the top of my head. I haven't wrote anything down. I have no notes in front of me. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I'm trying to wait for her to see what mental illness. What are my views on mental illness? Okay, she must be new. My views on mental illness is that it's normal for you to battle things. Anxiety is a very normal thing. Every person in the world has anxiety, and if they tell you they don't, they're lying. It's a normal function for people to have anxiety. Now, depression comes from, I say that my views on depression is you not properly expressing yourself. So when you don't properly express yourself, it comes out. It has to come out in some sort of way. So that's my views on depression. PTSD is not just from military experience, not from people that go to war. It could also come from just the way you grew up at, like seeing you grew up in a household where it's violent, and there's also domestic violence that you exposed to. You create something in your mind of being normal and anxious, so that creates PTSD as well. Walking outside and hearing gunshots. Gunshots are not normal. I don't care. It's little fucking kids that live in these terrible neighborhoods that they hear gunshots and they grow up to PTSD, and they don't know that they're using drugs or alcohol as a way to cope with it subconsciously. So they're growing up and they're treating themselves subconsciously and they think that this is the only way that they can make themselves feel better. And it's really fucking sad. But again, I mean, there's people out there trying to change that. James Campbell is out there trying to change that. He's trying to create a way for these kids to like learn that there's more ways to cope with these conditions than just drinking. Meditation is a huge way to when you're feeling anxious to calm down. People are like, oh man, I need a drink, or I need to do that. No, you don't, man. You need to just go be by yourself somewhere, cross your legs, sit down, and just take a few deep breaths and just block out everything. And I promise you'll feel like an awakening inside you. You'll feel, like a sense, like an epiphany, kind of like what needs to happen next, what you need to do next. I'm not trying to insult anybody if you haven't heard the podcast. I literally talk about it. If you're my friend on social media, I literally talk about it all the time. So if you haven't seen anything about it, that's surprising that you haven't. But Brittany says the negative stigma that's attached to mental health is disheartening. Yes, it is. But again, I'm trying my best to change it, because like I said, it's very normal to deal with these conditions. Where are we at now? We at the 18-minute mark. I've talked to you guys for almost 19 minutes, and I haven't wrote down anything. This is all off the top of my head. The chat room is. I can't believe people are actually in the chat room. You guys are the best, man. I'm telling you. Who I usually do the show Thursdays at 8 p.m. and I have people in the chat room, and it's Saturday morning at 12:53 a.m. and it's people in the chat room right now. That's amazing. If you guys are new, Let's Talk It Out podcast. I post links to it all the time on my page. You go click on it. You can subscribe to it on anywhere. I have it on iHeartRadio. I have it on Spotify. I have it on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Castbox. Wherever you listen to podcasts, or wherever you listen to anything, the Let's Talk It Out podcast is available for you. Podbean, whatever. Anything that you listen to podcasts on is on there. So I literally don't accept any excuse for people saying they don't know where to find it. Personally, I've tried meditation, but my mind races constantly. When your mind wanders, what do you do to stay focused? What do I do to stay focused? Okay. Well, when your mind is wandering, you have a lot of energy, right? So for me personally, I go to the gym all the time, right? I go to the gym and I listen to music on my headphones. So when I'm at the gym, I focus. When you're lifting heavier weights, you have to focus on those, right? So the things that are bothering you, you kind of block out. Like you force yourself to block them out because you're focusing on lifting this weight. You're focusing on reaching the goals. You build goals. You set goals for yourself in the gym, and you work on them outside the gym, right? You got to eat a certain way to get a certain type of body. You got to sleep, get so many hours of sleep. Like you have to keep yourself moving in a positive way in order to keep yourself focused, right? If you have too much free time, then your parents probably told you that before. Free time is, idle time's a devil workshop. We've heard that from my parents before. You heard that at church before. It's true. If you keep yourself focused on goals and things that you're trying to accomplish, then you don't have to worry about not being focused, right? So, I've tried to meditate. My mind races constantly. When your mind wanders, what do you do to stay focused? Again, gym, music, journaling, writing down. I mean, it's so many different things you could do to stay focused. Honestly, I'm just gonna keep that out there. Let's see. Yeah, it's weird. I got the chat room going on for the Mixler, and I got the chat room going on Facebook. It's just weird. Look, I've never had this both going on at the same time. Brady says, meditation doesn't work for me either. I'm literally talk to myself, remind myself that I'm in control of my mood. I literally stop and pray and ask God to calm my mind. Yeah, I mean, whatever some people, like religion helps some people out too as well. Praying helps. Dimitri, yes, it's on Google Play as well. So I have a link on my page that says it's a link tree. That's the name of you click on it and it says Let's Talk It Out. You scroll down, it's definitely on Google Play Podcast as well. If you are a creative, then you have no reason not to find ways to focus on other things. You could draw, you could dance, you could write music. I mean, hell, if you are a creative, blogging. I have Joshua reached out to me and said, he created his own blog about depression, and that's how he deals with it. Just writing things out, expressing yourself, finding ways to express yourself. It's just, I mean, come on, man. Like, there's so many different things you could do. If you're creative, you can find ways to express yourself. I got people that I mean, even singing. I mean, come on. There's so many ways that you could express yourself. I can keep going, man. What time is it? 22:30. Getting everything done. Try to meditate. My mind's everywhere and worried about getting everything done. Well, meditation might not be for you. Everybody has a different walk in life. They have different things that they can do. Meditation is for people meditate, not medicate. Well, yeah, I got you. Medicating. Medication is. I'm not really a huge fan of medication myself. A lot of times there's a lot of severe side effects with these drugs that they subscribe you to, because that's the first thing that they like to do. When you go see, even with young kids, they're dealing with quote unquote ADHD. They like to just throw them on drugs. When I had Miles Wells come on again, I'm gonna keep shouting out people that were guests. Miles said he was battling ADHD a lot when he was in high school, and come to find out, they tried to throw him on medication. But the main issue for him was he wasn't being challenged enough in the classroom. So like he would get done with the work and just have so much free time and so much energy, so he couldn't sit still. Once he started getting challenged a little bit more, that's when it started to calm down a little bit. So I mean, there's so many other things you could do besides just taking pills. Taking pills is like, that has to be like the last resort. In all honesty, where are we at, the 24-minute mark? I didn't plan on being live this long, guys. I really do appreciate the people that are tuning in. Again, the podcast is available everywhere. I just wanted to come on real quick and give people a little bit of an idea of what created the podcast. I had people, me wanting to help people, combined with the fact that I had the platform to help people, combined with the fact that I had the connections to help people. So wanting to, platform, connection, and just the creativity to create, to come up with the idea is the reason why the Let's Talk It Out podcast exists. So again, Let's Talk It Out podcast is real unfiltered conversation about mental health. Right? I mean, if you never heard it before, I promise you, there's a whole catalog. I got 25 episodes up right now of different conversations for each one. People that listen to it could tell you in the chat room. They could tell you right now, 25 episodes of just different conversations, different different, like so many different types of conversations on there, so many different topics, just so many different professionals, people from all over the place, people from different parts of the United States, people from different countries. This is it's something out there for everybody, man. I promise you, there's something out there for everybody. If you think if you're trying to figure out what you should listen to, I got it all labeled on there. Just it's something for everybody on Let's Talk It Out podcast. So I'll be back live on Thursday unless something changes. I just want to hop on real quick, have a quick conversation with you guys, let you guys know the reason why the podcast was created. And I'm a man of my word. I say one like and I'll go live, and I got one like, so here I am. So if you want to find the podcast, I have a Facebook page. I share it all the time. I mean, people that are in the chat room, people that are on Facebook, you've seen it. You just probably skipped over it because it wasn't about a celebrity. But I share it all the time. Check it out. It's worth a listen. Everybody who's ever listened to the show, they feel inclined to listen to it again. They feel pulled in because they're included in the conversation. So again, I thank everybody who's a part of it, everybody who's listened to it. I gotta go. It's getting late. I don't want you guys to keep having to listen to me talk. So yeah,